I retired in my 20s, and I'm going to tell you how I did it so that you can do it too. I'm specifically speaking to Americans, but look into it because your country probably has this option too. All right, enough preamble. All you got to do to retire in your 20s is be blown up with a bomb. I was blown up in Afghanistan, so unfortunately that's not an option for you, but don't worry. The American government will find you a place where you can have this experience. Now, when you're getting blown up with your bomb, you want to be careful about the distance you are from the explosive. There are actually different blast injuries that you can get depending on distance, composition, and where you are in relation to other objects. I would know before I got blown up, I was a medic. You have primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary? We only learned the first three. Quaternary means you got burned. Primary blast is the actual explosive force that an explosion exerts. It's the pressure wave that leaves the explosion. If you're very close to it, it will tear you asunder. But if, like me, you're in an armored vehicle and the explosion is on the outside of the armored vehicle, the blast wave will enter the vehicle, get trapped inside of its armored container, and then get trapped inside of your noodle, which is designed or the skull rather, is designed to protect said noodle, but instead the pressure wave gets trapped inside the skull and turns your brain into mush. The secondary blast is anything that is around the actual explosive. So fragments from the bomb, sometimes they would add BBs or human remains or animal remains because the terrorists wanted to ensure that the infidels didn't get to go to heaven. And then, of course, you have your tertiary blast injury, which is your body displacement, meaning that you get thrown somewhere and you hit something like rebarb sticking out of a wall or just the wall. All of those injuries will also allow you to retire, assuming that they are bad enough, but a lot of them cause things like loss of limb, and death. You know, try not to die. There's a window here that we're looking for. This is what your retirement is going to look like. This was not my truck. I was hurt, I was hurt several times, but the one I'm thinking of right now was a mortar beside the truck. This truck was hit by a 250-pound IED. Everybody survived, including the gunner, who got his face mangled by the gun when it was suddenly thrust upward. But fun fact, when he had to get all the x-rays in his face and neck because of said injuries, they found cancer, and it was early, so he survived. The reason everybody survived this absurd-looking incident is because this truck is designed to be hit by explosives. It has a V-shaped bottom, which redirects the explosive force, and the engine and wheels are designed to fly off so that the explosive force goes somewhere other than the people. That wheel over there is on a different mountain. You can see the hole back there where the explosion went off. It lifted the truck up and then moved it. Now, I know I said that last photo was a photo of your retirement, but where you're actually going to spend your retirement is at a little place called the VA. Because even though you got it blown up with a bomb inside of a government vehicle surrounded by other people, no one's going to believe you. So you have to convince doctors that that bomb happened in Afghanistan and that you didn't have this brain damage to start with. And in order to get your actual retirement, you don't actually have to convince a doctor. You just have to convince some guy that doesn't have a medical degree, some guy that doesn't even know how the body works. He has a little checklist that he goes down after you go meet with the doctor to see if the words that you used with your brain-damaged brain match the words on his little sheet that says whether or not you have to be homeless or not. I feel like I'm adding a lot of caveats. You want to not die, try not to get injured too badly, and then in the way you get injured, try to do it so that you can fight for yourself, because all the people that are going to advocate for you are going to do a bad job, and then if you don't, you end up homeless. Here's a little graph of all the homeless veterans. You tell me that's not the face of a 20-year-old who's excited to retire. I wonder why I became a writer. Anyway, for more retirement tips and stories about the war, find my book that you can't pre-order or find on the internet yet. But just know that it exists in the future and get excited for it there. Despite the sarcastic tone throughout this entire video, I would like your takeaway at the end to be, Pat really loves being an American. These colors don't run!
USA! USA!